बहुत ही एक हमारे दर्दनायक की बात है, फिर एक बहुत दुखी भी है, स्टोरी है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ हम लोग किस तरीके से आगे बढ़े हैं वो भी एक बहुत लंबी कहानी है। तो इसीलिए मैं आज दिखाना चाहती हूँ कि किस तरीके से मानवाधिकार जो उल्लंघन हो रहा है बांग्लादेश की, ये बातें आज की नहीं है, ये बातें बहुत पुरानी हुई है। और इस बातों में अगर हम लोग पहले जाते हैं तो यहाँ पे मैंने कुछ स्लाइड्स वगैरह, मैंने यहाँ पे कुछ डेटा दिया है दिखाने के लिए, डेटा दिखाने के लिए कि किस तरीके से बांग्लादेश में हर समय मानवाधिकार उल्लंघन का किया गया है। और यहाँ पे मैंने, जैसे मेरी स्टोरी है, जिस तरीके से मैंने सफर किया है, या फिर जिस तरीके से मेरे मम्मी, मेरे पापा, मेरे दादाजी, जिन जैसे इन लोगों को सफर करना पड़ा था, इनको जैसे जिस तरीके से अपने घर बार को छोड़ के वापस इंडिया आना पड़ा, उस तरीके से बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जिनकी कहानियां, जिनके स्टोरीज हम लोग हर एक जगह पे, अगर हम लोग इंटरनेट में छानते हैं या फिर इंटरनेट में थोड़ा सर्च करते हैं या डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज देखते हैं तो फिर वहां से मिल जाएगी। अगर हम लोग शुरुआत करते हैं तो फिर ये जो लड़ाई चल रही है, ये लड़ाई 1947 के टाइम से चल रही है। और 1947 में सिर्फ जो पार्टीशन के बाद जो प्रॉब्लम हुई है सिर्फ वही नहीं है, उसके बाद से भी ये जो लड़ाई हो रही है, ये लड़ाई बांग्लादेश हर समय एक तरीके से वो चाहते हैं कि ताकि कोई भी हिंदू या फिर कोई भी एथनिक माइनॉरिटी, सिर्फ हिंदू नहीं, हिंदू के साथ साथ जो दूसरे एथनिक माइनॉरिटी भी है, उनका भी रहना, ताकि बांग्लादेश में, ताकि उनके रहने का कोई मतलब, उनके रहने के लिए कोई अच्छी जगह, या फिर उनकी एजुकेशन के लिए अच्छा एजुकेशन हो, या फिर उनके नौकरी के लिए उनको अच्छा नौकरी मिले, इस तरीके का कोई सुविधा या फिर इस तरीके का जो डेवलपमेंट हम लोग बोलते हैं वो हम लोग कभी देखे नहीं है, या फिर हिस्ट्री ने कभी दिखाया नहीं है। मैं यहाँ पे एक स्टोरी दिखाना चाह रही हूँ। यहाँ पे मैंने एक स्टोरी मैंने कोट किया है जो कि अल जजीरा वेबसाइट में ये आया हुआ था, जहाँ पे कि एक ये जिनसे ये स्टोरी लिया गया है वो वहां पे थे, मतलब वो वहीं पे उस टाइम पे जब यहाँ पे माइग्रेशन हो रहा है 1971 के टाइम पे, हिंदू माइनॉरिटी, हिंदू प्लस एथनिक माइनॉरिटीज के ग्रुप के लोगों को जो मतलब इनको फोर्स किया गया कि ताकि भाई आप लोग निकलो बांग्लादेश से। और वो फोर्सिंग किस तरीके से हुआ? इट वाज इन May 16, 1971 when soldiers from the Pakistan army, they rounded up all the Hindu men in Jogiso village in the Rajshahi district, about 300 kilometers from Dhaka, the capital of what was then the East Pakistan and is now Bangladesh. There were 42 villages in total. They were all shot dead, and the Muslim villagers were ordered to dig a hole in which their bodies would be dumped. Nine widows who were there in white saris, they recounted the scene for a show I was filming on the atrocities committed during the Bangladesh War of Independence fought between Pakistan, then known as West Pakistan, and East Pakistan and India. Interesting बात उसके बाद आती है, the soldiers then urinated on the grave. इस तरीके से ये जो स्टोरी मैं आपको बता रही हूँ, ये स्टोरी सिर्फ एक न्यूज़पेपर में स्टोरी नहीं है, ये स्टोरी असली स्टोरी, ऐसे बहुत सारे स्टोरीज है जो कि बहुत असली स्टोरीज है, जहाँ पे जैसे मेरे दादाजी या फिर मेरे पापा, जब 1971 में जब इनको निकल के आना पड़ा, तो इनके यहाँ पे इनका घर बार है, इनके यहाँ पे 30-40 एकड़ की जमीन वगैरह सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के इनको इंडिया आना पड़ा। उनको कुछ नहीं पता था, उनको कभी नहीं लगा था कि उनको कभी भी अपने जमीन जायदाद, जिस जमीन जायदाद में वो अपने मुस्लिम भाइयों के साथ एक साथ बैठ के खाना खाए हैं या फिर एक साथ बैठ के खेती बाड़ी किए हैं, वही जमीन जायदाद कभी उनको अपना छोड़ के आना पड़ेगा, एक अलग ही दुनिया में, एक अलग देश में आना पड़ेगा, जहाँ पे कि उनको एकदम सच लेवल, उनको एकदम जीरो लेवल से शुरू करना पड़ेगा। ये चीज कभी उन्होंने सोचा ही नहीं था। मेरे पापा हर समय मुझे बोलते रहते हैं कि हम लोगों ने कभी नहीं सोचा था, हम लोगों ने अपने सपनों में भी नहीं सोचा था कि हम लोगों को अपना घर बार, अपना खेती बाड़ी, अपना सोना गहना सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के हमको एक अलग देश में जाना पड़ेगा। हम लोगों ने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि इंडिया ही हमारा देश हो जाएगा या इंडिया हमारा घर हो जाएगा। तो यहाँ पे इस पर्टिकुलर, यहाँ पे जो मैंने अकाउंट जो दिया है, ये भी वही ऐसे ही कुछ एक किसी के मतलब एक अकाउंट है जो कि अपने हिस्ट्री, अपने स्टोरी को बता रहे हैं। इंटरेस्टिंगली यहाँ पे वो खुद बोल रहे हैं, The Bengali Hindus had fought for a united India, not for Pakistan. The creation of Pakistan in 1947 was a psychological defeat for them. After Pakistan's birth, its leaders carried out ethnic cleansing that began in 1947 and continued till 1971, the year Bangladesh was born. इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है कि 1947 के बाद जब हम लोग टिल 1971 तक हम लोग अगर स्टैटिस्टिक्स देखते हैं तो फिर एथनिक माइनॉरिटीज पहले 1947 में 3% एथनिक माइनॉरिटीज हमें मिलता है बांग्लादेश में। जब हम लोग 1971 में जाते हैं तो फिर वो 30% कम होके 20% में आ जाती है। और अगर अभी हम लोग देखते हैं तो उनका गिना चुना आई थिंक मैक्स टू मैक्स 8 to 10% ही एथनिक माइनॉरिटीज है जो कि अभी भी बांग्लादेश में रुके हुए हैं, अभी भी इस सोच में रुके हुए हैं कि कुछ अच्छा हो जाएगा, कि कुछ अच्छे दिन आएंगे, कि कहीं कहीं पे कुछ अच्छा डेवलपमेंट हो जाएगा, कि अपने बच्चों के लिए कुछ अच्छा हो जाएगा। अभी भी मेरे जानकार के, क्योंकि ऐसा है, ये कहावत है कि जैसे हम लोग जो बांग्लादेश से जो हम लोग पूर्वज आते हैं तो फिर हमारे अभी भी कुछ कुछ लोग वहाँ पे है, हिंदू माइनॉरिटी, हिंदू फैमिलीज अभी भी बांग्लादेश में है और उनसे हमारी हर दिन बात होती है। मेरे स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे है, जेएनयू में भी मेरे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स थे जो कि बांग्लादेश से आए हुए थे। उन्होंने भी वो जब उनकी एग्जाम खत्म हो जाने वाली थी उसी टाइम पे ये प्रॉब्लम शुरू हुआ। उस टाइम पे वो मुझे आके ये हमें बोलने लगे, मुझे बोलने लगे कि मैम क्या करूं, बांग्लादेश में जाओ तो क्या करो, कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं, हिंदू माइनॉरिटीज है। इन्होंने बोला कि ये बोल रहे कि हम लोग कहाँ जाएंगे, ना हम लोग इंडिया आ सकते हैं क्योंकि हमको स्कॉलरशिप मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी, क्या हमें नहीं पता है, बाहर जाएंगे क्या करेंगे, फ्यूचर हमें कुछ नहीं पता है कि क्या होना है क्या नहीं होना है। एक अद्भुत परिस्थिति पैदा होकर रखा हुआ है बांग्लादेश में, और जहाँ पे कि सिर्फ हम लोग जो ऐतिहासिक रूप से जो हम लोगों को जो फेस करना पड़ा वो तो है, और साथ साथ जो आज के बच्चे भी फेस कर रहे हैं जो कि बांग्लादेश में अभी पढ़ाई करना चाहते हैं, जो अपना देश मान के वहां पे पढ़ाई करना चाह रहे हैं, वहां पे कुछ करना चाह रहे हैं, उनके लिए भी बहुत अजीब एक स्थिति हो गया है कि वो वहां से निकले कहां से, कैसे। In the name of secularism, Bangladesh emerged as a secular nation state in 1971. लेकिन शेख मुजीबुर रहमान के असैसिनेशन, उनके हत्या के बाद से ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, बांग्लादेश के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को चेंज तो किया गया था, उसके बाद फिर से ये सेक्युलर वर्ड, मतलब पहले इतिहास हिस्टोरिकल एविडेंस है जहाँ पे कि सेक्युलर वर्ड पहले बांग्लादेश के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से हटा दिया गया था, फिर उसके बाद उसको रीइंस्टेट किया गया। लेकिन इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है कि रीइंस्टेट करने के बाद भी हम लोग ये नहीं देखते हैं कि हिंदू माइनॉरिटी या दूसरे एथनिक माइनॉरिटीज के साथ उनका बर्ताव बहुत अच्छा हुआ है। बंगाली हिंदूज दे हैव एनकाउंटर्ड एथनिक क्लिंजिंग। 3 तरीके का 3 फेजेस में एथनिक क्लिंजिंग बांग्लादेश में हुआ है। एक पार्टीशन के टाइम पे जब 1950s के टाइम पे दूसरा क्लिंजिंग हुआ, दूसरे फेज ऑफ क्लिंजिंग हुआ था 1960s के टाइम पे, एंड उसके बाद फिर और एक मेजॉरिटी क्लिंजिंग जब हुआ, जबकि हमारे पूर्वज मतलब मेरे मम्मी, मेरे पापा, मेरे दादा जब ये लोग आए, दैट वाज बेसिकली जबकि शेख मुजीबुर रहमान की हत्या हुई उसके बाद 1971। और ये जो क्लिंजिंग है, ये क्लिंजिंग अभी भी खत्म नहीं हुआ है। आज जो हम लोग जो न्यूज हर दिन हम लोग देख रहे हैं, तो जो न्यूज हम लोग हर दिन पढ़ रहे हैं, ये चीज अभी भी चला आ रहा है। हैरानी की बात है कि बांग्लादेश अभी भी अपने इतिहास को रचाने के, मतलब अच्छा इतिहास रचाने के बजाय वो अभी भी सोच रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से हम लोग माइनॉरिटीज के ऊपर एक्सप्लॉइट कर सकते हैं या फिर उनको ओप्रेस कर सकते हैं। इंटरेस्टिंग बात यह है कि जैसे इवन चिटागोंग हिल ट्रैक्ट्स में, अगर आप लोगों को सबको पता होगा कि चिटागोंग हिल ट्रैक्ट्स में चकमा कम्युनिटी का एक बहुत बड़ा पॉपुलेशन रहता है, और इवन टुडे ऑल्सो, इवन आज भी न्यूज में आया हुआ है, इनफैक्ट कंटिन्यूअसली ये न्यूज में आ रही है कि किस तरीके से चकमा कम्युनिटी के लोगों को भी किस तरीके से एक्सप्लॉइट किया जा रहा है, उनको निकाल दिया जा रहा है, उनको मारपीट, उनके साथ वायलेशन किया जा रहा है। मानव अधिकार है कहाँ, किस तरीके से उल्लंघन हो, इस तरीके से जिस तरीके से उल्लंघन हो रहा है, इसका अंत है कहाँ पे, ये बहुत बड़ी सवाल हो गई है। हम लोग किस तरीके से इसको आगे लेकर जाएंगे? अगर बांग्लादेश को एक अच्छा देश, एक अच्छा फ्यूचर देना है, तो फिर बांग्लादेश को सोचना चाहिए कि किस तरीके से वो एक साथ रह सके, किस तरीके से सब पॉपुलेशन को एक साथ बांध सके, तब जाके ही बांग्लादेश कुछ आगे कर सकता है। इस सिचुएशन में आप लोगों को ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी मैसेकर भी एक बहुत बड़ी मैसेकर हुई थी, जो मुझे कि आप लोग कितने लोग अवगत हो इस ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी मैसेकर के बारे में। ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी मैसेकर के टाइम पे भी पाकिस्तानी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने 25 मार्च 1971 में पूरा ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी में जितने सारे स्कॉलर्स, जितने सारे प्रोफेसर्स, जितने सारे स्टूडेंट्स थे, जो कि बांग्लादेश लिबरेशन के लिए, बांग्लादेश लिबरेशन मूवमेंट में जो लोग एक साथ जो लोग काम कर रहे थे, इन सबको हत्या की गई थी। बहुत अजीब तरीके से हत्या की गई थी, जिनका नामो आज हम लोग म्यूजियम में उनके पिक्चर्स वगैरह म्यूजियम में और अलग मैगजीन्स में यही देखते हैं, जो कि बहुत नामी दामी स्कॉलर्स थे, जो बहुत अच्छे स्टूडेंट्स बन सकते हैं। इवन टुडे भी, आज भी अगर आप बांग्लादेश में जाओगे, ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी के सामने वो कैंटीन, जहाँ पे ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी के सामने जहाँ पे कैंटीन में जहाँ पे एक जगह जमायत हुआ था जब स्टूडेंट्स लोगों का, तो आज भी वहाँ के प्रोफेसर्स बोलते हैं कि किस तरीके से उनको ओपन फायर किया गया था, ओपन फायर करके उनको मार दिया गया था कंटिन्यूअसली। और ये एविडेंसेस हमारे हर जगह पे, हर एक रिकॉर्ड्स में आपको मिल जाएगा। बिटवीन मार्च, यहाँ पे मैं आप लोगों को इस पर्टिकुलर डेटा में या इस पर्टिकुलर इंफॉर्मेशन में मैं आपको मैं एक बार रीड करना चाहती हूँ। बिटवीन मार्च 25 and 27, the Pakistan soldiers brutally killed the following Dhaka University teachers, including by going inside their own houses: Dr. D.C. Dev of philosophy, Professor Muniruzama of statistics, Dr. Jyotirmoy of English, Dr. Fazlur Rahman Khan, प्रोफेसर अब्दुल मुक्तादिर, एंड ऐसे बहुत सारे स्कॉलर्स थे, ऐसे बहुत बड़े बड़े प्रोफेसर्स थे जो कि, और सबसे बड़ी बात वहाँ पे जगन्नाथ हॉल जहाँ पे कि बहुत ही एक्सक्लूसिव बुक्स, आज भी बहुत सारे एक्सक्लूसिव बुक्स आपको मिलेंगे बंगाली लिटरेचर का, बंगाली नेशनल आइडेंटिटी के ऊपर, बंगाली हिस्ट्री के ऊपर। उस जगन्नाथ हॉल में भी, वहाँ पे भी स्टूडेंट्स पे हमला की गई थी। यही चीज मैं आज के इस पर्टिकुलर पैनल सेशन या फिर आज के इस लेक्चर सेशन से मैं यही समझाना चाह रही हूँ या फिर लोगों के सामने ये बात लाना चाह रही हूँ कि जिस तरीके से आज के बांग्लादेश में 21st सेंचुरी में, 21वीं शताब्दी में खड़े होने के बाद भी जिस तरीके से बांग्लादेश में मानव अधिकार का उल्लंघन किया जा रहा है, एथनिक माइनॉरिटीज के अगेंस्ट जिस तरीके से एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, जिस तरीके से उनको ऑपरेशन, जिस तरीके से उनके ऊपर वायलेंस किया जा रहा है, इस तरीके से अगर जो चीज इन्हें हिस्ट्री में ऑलरेडी जो चीज हो चुका है, और अगर यही चीज अभी भी कंटिन्यू हो रहा है या आगे भी होगा, तो ये कभी बांग्लादेश को एक पॉजिटिव फ्यूचर, एक ब्यूटीफुल फ्यूचर या फिर एक डेवलप्ड नेशन के हिसाब से ये कभी उसको आगे बढ़ने नहीं दे सकता है। और इसीलिए हम लोगों को ये जो आज का डिस्कशन है या फिर लेक्चर सेशन है या सेशन जो पैनल सेशन है, यही चीज हम लोगों को लाया है एक साथ कि हम लोग किस तरीके से इस चीज को समझे या फिर किस तरीके से इस चीज को आगे बढ़ाए, समझाए कि किस तरीके से कि बांग्लादेश एक देश में हम लोगों को जिस तरीके से हमारे जनरेशन को बहुत कुछ झेलना पड़ा है, क्योंकि हमारे पूर्वज, मतलब मेरे पापा को जब बांग्लादेश से आ गए, वो मुझे खुद बोलते हैं कि जब वो मोयमेंसिंह से वहां से जब वो इधर आए, कोलकाता में आए, तो उनको फिर नदी क्रॉस करके, नदी जंगल क्रॉस करके ऐसे भी टाइम आए थे कि जहाँ पे कि मिलिट्री डायरेक्टली उनके ऊपर बंदूक उठा के, उनके सीने पे बंदूक तार के उन्होंने बोला कि किस तरीके से कि आपको मारा जाएगा। मतलब किसी भी तरीके से वो अपना जान बचा के, किसी ने अपना जान बचाया, किसी ने दूसरों का जान बचाया, इसी तरीके से अपने और कैसे कैसे हो, जिस कपड़े में हो उसी कपड़े में वो लोग वापस आए। और यहाँ पे आने के बाद जो पूर्वज जिनके 20-30 एकड़ या 100 एकड़ की जमीन, 3-4 किलो, 10-10 किलो के, जिनके 10-10 किलो के 10 किलो के एक हंडी के सोना, सब ये लोग क्या किए थे, मेरे पापा इन लोगों ने क्या किया था, इन लोगों ने अपने घर के नीचे, अपने घर के जो फर्श है, फर्श के नीचे इन लोगों ने सोने का जो हंडी होता है, एक हंडी, 3-4 हंडियां ऐसे रखे ये लोग रखे हुए थे। जिस समय इनको भागना पड़ा या फिर अपने देश छोड़ के आना पड़ा, तो उस टाइम पे कभी इनके पास ये सोच नहीं थी हम लोग सोने का ये जो हंडी है इसको हम लेकर जाए या अपना जान बचाए। इसीलिए मेरे पिताजी आज भी बोलते हैं कि मेरे पिताजी जो खुद भी अवामी लीग के एक मेंबर थे, एक पार्ट थे, और वो चाहते थे कि किस तरीके से एक आजाद बांग्लादेश हो जाए, एक बांग्लादेश ऐसे पैदा हो कि जिस बांग्लादेश में सब लोग एक साथ रह सके, जहाँ पे कोई लड़ाई ना हो, जहाँ पे हर समय हिंदू मुस्लिम भाई भाई बन के रह सके। उस बांग्लादेश का जो सपना इन्होंने देखा, वो सपना तो कभी पूरा हुआ ही नहीं, और तब से कि जब से वो कलकत्ता आए, जब से वो इंडिया में आए, उनको एकदम शून्य लेवल से शुरू करना पड़ा। वो जो लेवल, वो जो स्ट्रगल है जहाँ पे कि आपके पास कुछ नहीं है। मेरे आपके तीन बहनें जिनकी कोई तब शादी नहीं हुई थी। मेरे दादाजी अपने नौकरी छोड़ के इधर आ गए थे। मेरे दादा दादी, मेरे चाचा, मेरे बुआ, सब लोग मेरे पापा के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट थे। और मेरे पापा को सिर्फ पिताजी उनको अपने एक पर्टिकुलर गवर्नमेंट जॉब उनको मिला, जैसे तैसे गवर्नमेंट जॉब मिला, उसी गवर्नमेंट जॉब से ही उनको अपने फैमिली का पूरा गुजारा करना पड़ा। ये सिचुएशन, ये हालत सिर्फ मेरे जैसे ही, सिर्फ मैं अकेले नहीं, मेरे जैसे बहुत लोग हैं जो लोग अभी भी फेस कर रहे हैं। अभी भी मेरे जान पहचान के जो लोग हैं, उनसे कुछ दिन पहले ही मेरी बात हुई। वो भी मुझे बोल रहे थे कि मेरी बेटियों को मैं किस तरीके से इंडिया भेजूं, बस मुझे इतना ही सोचना है। मैं अपना तो मैं सोच ही नहीं रहा हूँ। मुझे नहीं पता है कि आज मैं जिंदा हूँ, कल वो अभी पढ़ाते हैं यूनिवर्सिटी में, वो खुद बोले मुझे कि आज मैं जा रहा हूँ, आज मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ, कल मुझे क्या होगा मुझे नहीं पता है। इसलिए वो मुझे फोन किए थे, कॉल किए थे, बात कर रहे थे, तो बोल रहे थे कि किसी तरीके से तुम्हें पता है कि किस तरीके से मैं अपने बेटियों को इंडिया में, कोलकाता में मैं भेज सकूं, क्या हो सकता है, व्हाट आर द सॉल्यूशंस, सो एंड सो फोर्थ। तो आज के डिस्कशन में बहुत ज्यादा इसको लंबा नहीं और खींचूंगी, क्योंकि मैं चाहती थी कि मैं किस तरीके से हिस्टोरिकली या फिर ऐतिहासिक रूप से किस तरीके से बांग्लादेश में एथनिक क्लेंजिंग हुआ है और एथनिक माइनॉरिटीज पे किस तरीके से मानव अधिकार उल्लंघन किया गया है, ये चीज मैं दिखाऊं। लेकिन यहाँ पे मैं बहुत ज्यादा डेटा या फिर बहुत ज्यादा एक्सप्लेनेशन में नहीं दे पाई, क्योंकि ये बहुत लंबा हिस्ट्री है। तो इसीलिए मैं इसके बाद मैं यहीं पे अपना लेक्चर में, अपना डिस्कशन में अपना स्टॉप करूंगी। इसके बाद मेरे बाद प्रोफेसर साइकिया है, उनके और भी एक्सपीरियंस है, वो और भी ज्यादा हमारे इस विषय में बोल पाएंगे। थैंक यू
जी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर आत्रेयी साहब, बहुत ही बारीकी से आपने वर्णन किया और आपका जो अनुभव रहा है वो बहुत ही दर्दनाक है। अपने घर से बेघर होना जिसके ऊपर बीतता है, इसका दर्द क्या है वो केवल वो ही जाने। तो मैं आगे बढ़ते हुए हमारे आज के दूसरे पैनलिस्ट प्रोफेसर नंदिता शइकिया जी से आह्वान करता हूं, आप अपना विचार रखें।
Thank you, Dr. Atrey. What a story! I got goosebumps. At the very outset, I would like to thank Northeast Narrative to organize such timely discussion on this pressing and critical topic, minority rights in Bangladesh and addressing the current situation. We are in such kind of phase that the whole world is witnessing and as the demand our attention. In Bangladesh, in the guise of so-called student movements, atrocities against minorities, more on Hindus, have reached very, very alarming levels. Starting from destroying temples to tragic killings of priests, arresting of ISKCON priests, and burning families alive, all are becoming stories or witness what our ancestor has experienced in their life. We are seeing that there is systematic looting of properties, destruction of business, livelihood of Hindu minorities, and what is deeply distressing is that women are facing double burden, which is also found in my previous speaker's speech. Well, these are not isolated incidents. This is a pattern and targeted violence, and it is posing a great question to what minority rights or human rights we speak at national, international level. And I think I would not go in detail all those. What Atrey has presented, it gives already a very good background. In my talk, I'll be basically addressing two questions, which are like, first is that, is it necessary for us as Northeastern Indian to raise the violence, to raise our voice against Bangladeshi Hindus? And second is that, what steps Northeastern people can do to counter the potential threats arising from rising religious fundamentalism in Bangladesh. So let us begin with the first question. Should हम लोग नॉर्थ ईस्ट का जो लोग है, बांग्लादेशी हिंदूज के लिए हमारा आवाज उठाना जरूरी है क्या? Well, being an Assamese, Arunachali, Manipuri, or Bodo, or anyone from Northeast India can easily naturally think that if Bangladeshi Hindus are attacked, why we should be concerned? Bangladesh has its government, it has law, police, army, so they should protect their citizen. And Bangladeshi Hindus, after all, they are not our kith and kin. Neither they speak Assamese or Khasi or Mizo language. So we should not be. But to be honest, the onus of this violence is not just on Bangladeshi Hindus, but all of us, to each and every Northeast individuals of this country. Because if we see the both macro and micro pictures of this part of India very carefully, and we observe historical, political, and demographic changes in this region in last 100 years, we have to learn a lot from our history. And if we don't learn that, we are going to lose the battle. We are going to lose Sylhet. We have already lost Sylhet. We are going to lose many Sylhets or many other districts from this part of in India. The first reason, I find at least there are three reasons why Northeastern Indians should be very, very concerned, alarmed, and aware about the Bangladesh violence in Bangladesh. The first reason is that historical conspiracy. Most of you know that there was historical conspiracy to include Assam in East Pakistan using changing demographic composition. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was the founder of Pakistan somewhere in 1930s, formulated or conceptualized plan of Pakistan, where he has included Assam should be a part of Pakistan. And once they have formulated, or once they have conceptualized this theoretical Pakistan, they started meticulously importing Bangladeshi Muslim to Assam to alter the demographic composition of the state. In Assam, in fact, it is larger Assam, which include other states of Northeast India during that time. Sir Syed Muhammad Sadullah, who hails from Sibsagar, an ethnic Assamese Muslim leader, also extended his help to Ali Jinnah's during 1937 and 46, when he was at the peak of the leadership, to bring more people from East Bengal, so that Assam loses Hindu majority and can be easily part of East Pakistan, and that Islamic state of Pakistan. At the same time, they also created whisper campaign saying that Adivasis of Assam or Northeastern India are not Hindus. They are basically they are animal worshippers. And by that way, they are very happy to show, or technically they have shown, that Assam is a non-Hindu majority state, which helps them to include it. Of course, thanks to our Bharat Ratna Gopinath Bordoloi, for which their dream was not fulfilled. But to be honest, the conspiracy to include a Northeast part or Assam in the part to Bangladesh has been kept on even after independence. In fact, Jinnah's private secretary, Moinul Haq Chaudhary, who became a minister in Assam's cabinet in independent India, promised Jinnah that he will present Assam on a silver platter. And it was during Sylhet referendum, most of the people who are aware of the Western Borak Valley, they know that there is a common proverb that Sylhet nile bhuter jure, Assam nibo lathir jure. That means we have taken Sylhet by referendum, and we will take Assam using the power of stick. This thought, this idea that including Assam to East Pakistan or Bangladesh has continued and has been reiterated by each of the East Pakistani or Bangladeshi leader, like Prime Minister Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He said that Assam has to be included in East Pakistan because Assam has a lot of forest, mineral resources, coal, petroleum, etc. Inclusion of Assam in East Bengal will help Assam to be financially and economically strong. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Prime Minister of Pakistan, he said that Kashmir is not only the bone of contention. Assam and some other districts of India also bone of contention. We definitely have good claims on those districts or state. And finally, another important person who was a Bengali politician, part of Muslim League, Maulana Bhasani. He has played a crucial role in Sylhet referendum. He has prepared Bangladesh map, including all the states of Northeast India. And he said that unless we include Assam, West Bengal, Tripura, etc., our Bangladesh map is not complete. Now, when I see in social media, Twitter, Facebook, there has been quite a lot of rallies where retired persons of Bangladesh Army or police or common people are saying that they want to implement Bhasani's Bangladeshi map now. So we understand that how much sensitive this topic, Bangladesh violence, raising fundamentalism in Bangladesh, how much sensitive towards the entire Northeast India. Second reason, of course, Bangladesh strategic proximity. We all know that Bangladesh is not just neighbor to Assam or India, but also Bangladesh is physically standing between Northeast India and rest of India. In fact, if some of you are aware that it was discussed that if India's chicken neck, that is Siliguri corridor, can be occupied, then it will be easy to cut off Northeast India with rest of the India, and then rest will be much easier. The third reason why we need to understand that this is very sensitive is changing demographic composition of Northeast population. Assam, being the most populous state of entire Northeast, is the home of a large group of Bangladesh origin. It is the result of planned migration before independence and illegal immigration after independence. Even if we exclude all the Bangladeshi people who came before independence in Assam, there are at least 40 lakhs ever immigrants and their children who come to India, who come to Assam after 1951. My studies has shown, those are published. Those who are interested, they can check it. Compared to, at the same time, this region is also the home of many ethnic tribes, divided by language or religion or caste or creed, whatever. Compared to all these other groups, Bangladeshi origin Muslim population are uniform population with same language and religion, and their increasing size through high fertility and continuous immigration are making them the single most majority population in this region. What Atri has shown, or what we have seen nowadays in media, it is just happening in Bangladesh, but also happening in Assam, may not be known to all, or maybe in silent manner. There are places in last 100 years or for 50 to 100 years where Bangladeshi origin Muslim population has become majority. Assamese ethnic origin people become minority. They are facing a lot of atrocity, lot of aggression, whether cutting crops from field, stealing cattle or household items, molesting or raping women, destroying temples, and crossing land of religious sites, and many others, forceful encroachment of government land, public property, and so on. It has been seen that in last 50 to 100, there are many villages in Assam. Villages are having history of 1,000 years, but they have changed in last 50 to 100 years. As these villages' name are such that those are named after some communities. Say Lalung village, that means it is a village of Lalung tribe. Ahom village, that is a village of Ahom community. But if you go to those places, those villages, you don't find a single Ahom person or Lalung person. Rather, those are fully occupied by Bangladeshi origin Muslim population. Question is that where these people have gone? In fact, these ethnic tribes left their original inhabitation just because they face so much of atrocities from the immigrant population. Well, these stories, unfortunately, does not go to national or international level because unlike Muslim communities who have international network, tribal or ethnic Assamese communities does not have such global network. Their stories are very much unheard. In fact, at international platform, when NRC was happening, it was shown that Muslim population of Assam are ethnically cleansing, which is far from not true at all. Whereas it is opposite is true, that they have written, whereas it is Assamese women, Assamese tribal, non-tribal women who suffer so much in the hand of Bangladeshi origin Muslim population, whether it is rape or molesting. But in the Mia poetry, they have shown that Assamese people are raping or molesting Bengali Muslim women, which is again 100%, which is again totally far from truth. They do not. They keep on trying that Assamese people are not accepting, whereas it is the opposite one. They do not accept indigenous population and in their own place once they become majority, and they keep on giving in their own narratives just to show themselves as victim. And if this is happening in many parts of Assam, which is just repetition of what is happening in Bangladesh, and if the rest of the population of northeastern India are divided in their own ethnic identity, it will be very easy for the enemy to fulfill their dream that to bring northeastern part of India to the East Pakistan or Bangladesh. So now the second part of my conversation is that what we need to do as a Northeastern, as this part is more vulnerable to Islamic fundamentalism, which is starting from Bangladesh once again. Of course, government has to take major steps. They have to strengthen eastern borders. They have to do diplomatic intervention. They have to expose the truth, what is happening at remote areas of Assam or some other parts of Northeast India. They have to pay a very deep intervention for India-Bangladesh border, also strengthen India-Nepal, India-Bhutan ties and so on. But the question is that they have to expose at international level that even being in the same country, these people from Bangladesh or Pakistan or other places, they go to Western countries, US and so on. They always demand, in other democratic countries, they always demand their minority rights. And in fact, they get all kinds of minority rights, enjoys upward mobility. But despite not being original inhabitant of Europe or US, but in Bangladesh or in Assam, where people are losing their own place because of this kind of religious fundamentalism. It is just because their religion is different. Bangladeshi Hindus and Bangladeshi Muslim, what is the difference? They have the same language, they have the same culture, they have the same DNA, but still they are not just discriminating, but also eliminating them from their own place. It is very important that we expose this at international level. My second point to Northeastern people is that irrespective of religion, caste or creed, who believes peaceful coexistence, prosperity, and they want to respect history and culture, they should unitedly stand. It is said that intelligent people does not wait things to happen to them, but they learn from experiences of others. In fact, Northeastern people have to be, they have to learn what is from the examples, what is happening in Bangladesh, so that cannot reach again and again to their neighborhood. Given the historical and inspiration of East Bengali leadership or so-called Bangladeshis, given their increasing atrocities to Bangladeshi Hindus, Northeastern people have to stand united. They should not think that it is just Bangladeshi Hindus or Assamese Hindus or Assamese ethnic people who are suffering now. Tomorrow it can be coming to them also. And being the largest part of Northeastern India, if Assam is destabilized, it will be very easy to capture the rest of the Northeastern states. In fact, they should be also reminded what is their glorious history, particularly to our Assamese friends. We must remember that how starting from 1200th century, starting from Maharaja Pretu of Kamrup, who has annihilated Bakhtiyar Khilji and Lachit Barfukar, and Mughals has invaded 18 times in Assam, but they failed in 17 times, and Assamese leadership never bowed down to them. So this has to be. But point is that already we have won so many times against Mughal, but now tactic is different. Now tactic is different because through high fertility, immersion, and 4D document, this war is something different. And there are many other things that I would not speak due to paucity of time. But if irrespective of religion, people are not united, then it will be easy for the enemy to take over, or if not take over, at least destabilize northeast part of India. Finally, I have also a call to the educated Muslim youth who are aware, understand India's history, and who can also observe the happenings in the Muslim countries around the world. In fact, they can see the countries which are becoming religiously fundamentalist. What is happening to them? What is happening to them? Be it Afghanistan, be it Pakistan, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Libya. There are no Hindus in those countries, but they are fighting within themselves. In Afghanistan, as we know, Afghanistan had largely Indian Buddhist Hindu history, but they have persecuted Hindus, Sikh, Buddhists very successfully. But now they are persecuting their own people. Taliban are not allowing women to live a dignified life. They are not allowing women to take education. In Pakistan, they have persecuted Hindus, Sindhis, Punjabis, but now they are doing the same with Ahmadiyas, same with Syria. In Iran, it is a country of almost 100% Muslim population. They had a high Islamic revolution 40 years before, but now what is happening there? Most of the people are living religion. They are becoming either atheist or ex-Muslim. Women are taking their own step, or they in fact, a lot of them are also interested to go to their pre-Islamic faith. And interestingly, there are other League of Muslim countries like Arab countries, to whom Indian Muslim may consider as their ideal, despite not having Arab DNA. It is interesting to see the recent changes in these Arab countries, particularly Saudi Arabia and UAE, which are economically very empowered countries. In this connection, I will quote His Excellency Mohammed bin Salman's talk, that he said that after Iranian Revolution in 1979, people wanted to copy Iran model in different countries, and Saudi Arabia also tried, but now they don't know how to deal with it. But now this problem of terrorism is spreading all over the world. And he says that we are simply reverting to what we followed, a moderate Islam open to the world and all religions. 70% of Saudis are younger than 30. Honestly, we don't want to waste 30 years of our life combating extremist thought. We will destroy them now immediately. So what is the main essence of the speech of Mohammed bin Salman or any leaders of UAE is that they do not want to go to the extremist part of Muslim Islam. They want to exist with other communities. In fact, we see that Jewish communities are more safe in UAE, United Arab Emirates. They are opening temples and so on. So it is the time for Indian Muslims, even if they want to imitate Arabs, maybe they should also think that how they should believe more and more in coexistence rather than becoming religious fundamentalist. We know what is happening to Afghanistan, Pakistan. There is no need to explain, and when they are becoming fundamental. And in fact, there is another point here. It is our country where all different types of Muslims, so many diverse Muslims exist. We tell that in India, within Hinduism, there are diversity, but we do not know within Muslim also. There are many Shia, Sunni, Deobandi, Khaja, Ahmadiyya, Syed, indigenous, non-indigenous. There are many, many types of Muslims, and they are also varying. There are a great amount of people who would like to practice moderate Muslim. moderate Islam, and they are in fact Indian. They are not Arab. People like Ghulam Nabi Azad of Kashmir, people like Badruddin Azmal of Assam, they openly accepted they are Indian by DNA. They just changed their religion. So, so this is what is my call to the Indian Muslims, particularly young and educated Muslims who are experiencing tremendous upward mobility in state like Assam or in India. Please open your eyes. Do you want to go back to the situation like Pakistan or Afghanistan, where even Prime Minister is not safe, both in Pakistan and Bangladesh. Even Prime Minister is their own people. They are selecting, but they are still not safe in their own country. They are either in jail or taking refuge in India. So in a closing note, I would urge all of us to reflect deeply, whether it is Hindus or Muslim or anyone for that fact. The challenges of Bangladesh is not confined to its borders. They are our challenges as well. If we remain passive, if we are not, as Northeastern people, if we do not remain alert and cautious, and we do not learn from our own history and what is happening now in Bangladesh, as there will be great damage to us in near future. And I hope that we will learn from history. We will stand united to safeguard the future of our such beautiful northeast part of India, where hundreds and thousands of ethnic tribes are almost living peacefully, and together all of us can ensure peace and coexistence and prosperity. That's all. Thank you. Thank you once again to all those.
Thank you, Professor 𝐊𝐲𝐽𝐾𝐲. Your insights were truly eye-opening. You have given us a new perspective on Islamic conspiracy, which is not a recent phenomenon for the Northeast region. Since the independence, radical Islamic leadership wanted to break the region. They made several failure attempts to include the part into the map of Bangladesh. Thank you very much, Professor 𝐊𝐽𝐾𝐲. So now I would like to invite our third and last panelist, Mr. Pratim Ranjan. Dada, now it's over to you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm not that good in Hindi, or rather I'm not that articulate in Hindi. मेरे को सब ढूंढना पड़ता है थोड़ा सा. So I'm very comfortable in English. So I'm saying in English, and maybe I'll mix up some of Hindi. So let us start with, a small analogy. What is the difference between minority rights? Minority does not always mean religious minority. It can be, ethnic minority as well. So what does it mean by minority? What is the difference in minority rights in India and in Bangladesh? We probably may know that the Chittagong Hill Tracts, as per the 1900 Act, during British rule, Chittagong Hill Tract had the same legal status as Arunachal Pradesh, Nepal, in those days. Now let us look at today's, till 1977 or so, when Ziaur Rahman started the shifting people over there. So this is under army rule. Arunachal was also largely excluded for public till the other day. Now look at the demographic change in these two places. Arunachal, this is still, it belongs to the same community with some changes. But look at Chittagong Hill Tracts. As in 1977, 90% of population were Buddhists, were non-Muslims. Today, the non-Muslim population is below 50%, and in a few days, they will be a very small minority. So this is the difference in minority status in two places. Over there, government or institute state has purposely taken over people from the plains and settled them. It is similar to the strategy that is followed by the Chinese in some places. And that had created another set of problems. So I will come to that. Now let me start with what is the, let me give you some introduction about Bangladesh. Bangladesh inherited its political, economic, and governance structures from Pakistan. The similarities are very much visible. Garment exports or high share of oil and based electricity generation are just typically, it is there both in Pakistan and Bangladesh. On the political side, as one of my young friend has put it very nicely this afternoon, there is a competition among parties to go right after right. So everyone is trying to outpace the other in going tilting towards the right. No centrist political force. Why it has happened is another issue, but I understand is that firstly, you will see the similarity in Pakistan. Secondly, Bangladesh has, when I'm saying going right, you just see Army League in 1972 and Army League in 2017 are two different animals. Having said that, there is Hasina brought in a huge political and economic correction by entering cooperation space with India. And her contribution in areas of security was unprecedented and phenomenal. So this led to repression of fundamentalist forces for majority of our rule. One reason why the centrist forces are absent may be the sustained reduction in Hindu and other religious minorities. Pakistan reduced them or removed them almost in day one. Over here, it took time. It took a time because of a basic contradiction that makes Bangladesh different from Pakistan or probably, I don't know, another nation. I don't know. There are more learned people here, so they may tell me that which is still divided on the liberation issue. They are still, every fight, every political turmoil they face is actually related to that 1971 liberation issue. Who were in favor of liberation and who were not. So this is where Bangladesh is distinct from Pakistan. So now onwards we have to deal with it separately. The current political term, Professor Dr. Atrocities and Professor Saikia has told a lot about the history and etc. So I'm not getting into that. In fact, my family is also from East Pakistan. We came in the 50s and we lost everything. The current political turmoil in Bangladesh can loosely be equated to Janata experiment in India. After 15 years of high-handed rule, one may call it oppressive, one may call it was a strong government. Now the entire opposition ganged up. Opposition includes the anti-incumbency sentiments as well. Maybe even some supporters of Army League or the floating support base of Army League. So that, roughly, let me put arithmetic here. Bangladesh vote is roughly divided by 40% to Army League. This is a rough estimate. 35% or up to 40% to BNP and Jamaat. By Jamaat, we mean the total Islamist force. Jamaat's own vote is not even 1 or 2%. Overall, they bring in on average 5 to 6%. And 20% are floating voters. So this is roughly the political, the electoral map. So after 15 years of high-handed rule, entire opposition, it is, but when I say opposition, it has to be generally, Hasina, Awami League all mixes up because this is a dynastic rule. So they ganged up, but there is a major difference with the Janata experiment. In Janata Party, two major parties merged their identities. One was the Socialist Party of Rajnarayan and one was Jansangh. So we had both the right and the left in the Janata Party. But over here, it has been the right to more right. And since Hasina suppressed the fundamentalists, so now they have come up in full force. They are dominating the political space. The unfortunate truth is, in this Islamic thing, politics, the righter you go, it is directly proportional to the tendency to persecute minorities. That's a fact. And this is the reason why in Bangladesh, during every instability, every tension, minorities are targeted at the first instance. For minorities, the current scenario is far worse than the nightmarish, the previous, that was the last example, the nightmarish rule of BNP Jamaat during 2001 and 2006. There are a couple of reasons for that. First, like Janata experiment, it is trying to turn the wheel 180 degrees, if not more. Janata did not challenge the Indian independence. Here, they are challenging the liberation. So the gap is very wide. Awami League was all for liberation, and here some people who call Pakistan as their brother. Awami League used to, demonize Pakistan, and for all right reasons. So this is a completely contrarian force that has come up. Now the secularity and liberation are, this is very, it is linked, interlinked. So this is where minorities are under attack. Yunus administration has luminaries. If you look at the profile of the advisors, there are academicians who see the world through the theoretical prisms or ideal, something, they are very ideal people, but they never ran government. Also, they came and they were afraid, they had, at least Dr. Yunus did have a grudge against Hasina. So, because he was facing some cases. But, and see, these are the unfortunate truth is, a political force that wins election is confident. And when a non-political force is given something on platter, it doesn't have the confidence because it knows that it doesn't have the grassroot connect. For that, if you have noticed, on August 5, the army chief, when he conducted the all-party meeting, the first name he uttered was Jamaati Islam. Please remember, Jamaati Islami was then a banned party. It was banned. And in the electoral space, it is still banned. So, but it was the first indication that who is going to get the prominence. And then, of course, the students. Now, students are you cannot quantify who they. This is a very serious problem. When a government comes in of any political affiliation, you know the devil. Here you don't know the devil. Either way, what happened was Yunus government didn't have a political administration of its own, so it had, it did take a ride on the mob power. You may remember the way they forced Chief Justice of Bangladesh and 5 judges of the Appellate Division of Supreme Court to resign. Army did not turn up. There were several calls to the army. They did not turn up. Police didn't do anything. So that was the beginning, and then you saw the spate of resignation. So essentially, what happened was they eliminated. This is where the Yunus administration had its support in eliminating, the political opposition. If not direct support, definitely moral support, because the government didn't act against that. Government enjoyed every advantage of that. We didn't see Mr. Yunus issuing a statement saying that the forced resignation of Supreme Court judges and 12 High Court judges is not right. So we have to say that Mr. Yunus enjoyed the benefits of this development. The whole development helped Islamists the most. See, Awamin League is out of the country, not out of the country, the leadership is out, but Awamin League was underground. BNP, the leadership was in exile, and they suffered the maximum brunt of last 15 years when Awamin League was ruling as the principal opposition. They suffered the brunt. They were not in power for 15 years. That really weakens you. So they were weak. But Jamaat-e-Islami, if you are aware, it is an organization that puts a lot of focus on economics. Professor Soikia was talking about economics. Now, here is a very interesting example of economics used for wrong reasons. Jamaat-e-Islami puts exceptional importance to economics. They take control of business empires, and they run it very efficiently also. And then it becomes the avenue or the vehicle for finance. So that is why they are so cash rich, and that is why they finance finally if things go for the caliphate. So here is a very, very important element. Now, what the whole development did is untapped the entire pressure that was built by Hasina. They completely untapped it, and all the giants, they were not gentle giants, they came out. And so you see on Dhaka street, someone sent me that other day, someone is skating with the flag of Al-Qaeda. We saw was Hizb ut-Tahrir, a terrorist group outfit, is putting up posters in Dhaka. It doesn't matter against whom, whether it is against India or not, but a terrorist outfit is putting up posters. It is a big thing. In the same city which suffered its first terrorist attack, you may remember Holy Artisan attack in 2016. And the inevitable had happened. There came up, in number of times people are raising slogans for the caliphate. Yunus administration first started with between 5th August and 8th, they released a lot of criminals, terrorists. Then Yunus administration released terrorists. One terrorist, the chief of Ansarullah Bangla team, was practically given a red carpet welcome out of the jail. He came out and the helicopter was waiting. He waved to everyone and then took the helicopter, went to his village. It is an unbelievable moment. It is like those Syrian guys, they are entering into Damascus with, that they have won this thing. Now, the grudge on Hasina and the fear of loss led to indiscriminate attack on political opponents. Over 2,000, I believe, close to 3,000 cases. I forget the number. It is already Awamin League has documented it. Huge numbers of cases, and each of these cases, you will find all are some around 200 or 250 are against Hasina alone. And in each of them, they made party to up to 700 people. And in that, you find at least 25 top editors, at least 100 journalists are facing murder charges for writing stories or giving bites to television. You are accusing someone of murdering people. And then hundreds of journalists lost jobs forcefully. They were removed. And you see, whenever all of these are happening, please understand, if you go and check the ratio, I know the ratio, minorities are the worst sufferers. I'm just giving one example. There was an incident in Rajshahi where 250 plus police sub-inspectors, they were on training. They were working for 3 years. And they went on some training schedule. And they said that, they were rusticated from service. Out of that, if I remember it correctly, roughly 1/3 were Hindus. And you know why they are rusticated? First, it is just because they were recruited by Army League. And the cause they had given was something funny, that they created ruckus during breakfast time for not getting noodles or something. So these are just flimsy things. All these have made them seriously a banana republic. We saw something like this in our eyes. And in this whole melee, Islamists are going for their final drive to caliphate. You can call it madness, you can call it whatever you want, but it is a drive. And they are destroying every secular evidence. Roughly, I'm told, roughly 50% of the mazars, which are very, you know about Sufi mazars, and this is a very Bengal specific thing, very moderate. They are destroyed, and the Hindus and etc. temples or etc. are just part of that. Or when Muslims face attack, so you can understand what others are facing. Hindus, Buddhists suffered double attack or triple attack because number one, they are symbolic to Indic civilization and India. In Bangladesh, it is very common whenever there is some anti-India thing, and they will slap some Hindus first, if not kill. What actually made the difference this time is the unprecedented united voice put up by the minorities. They have their back on the wall, and probably they were encouraged by this student protest and the information war that had been put up. So we are getting, for the first time, we are getting very serious inputs from Bangladesh, and that has really internationalized the cause of the minorities. Now, since it has done so, both Islamists and the Yunus administration are alarmed. They are trying to suppress them to save the seat. You have seen the arrest of the Chinmay Prabhu on such a flimsy ground as disrespecting the flag, and they charged first him with sedition, and now at least 4 cases are added on that. And remember that sedition charge was brought in by an individual, and his only sin is that he was found out to be a very popular leader. He was not into politics. What is adding to trouble? This government is very anxious. They are expecting to lose the seat. Post November 2005 US election, this was not in their calculations. Typically, an anxious or over-anxious and unsure man can be very dangerous. He may take desperate decisions. And in my opinion, Yunus government is taking many such desperate steps, contradictory steps. You saw the foreign secretary meeting, and after that, they said about SARC. They know very well that SARC means they are going to rope in Pakistan. And they know that India is no more interested to deal with Pakistan until and unless they just stop doing all this nonsense. So this is, in a nutshell, the situation in Bangladesh. And, I can answer, I believe we have to be, I don't see yet, that some things are expected to happen this year very soon. We will see the situation changing. But what is alarming is that some very dangerous people are let loose. And the question is, who will put them back into the jail? If there is a solution to that, then we will see temporary relief. And it is not that entire Bangladesh is enjoying this. It is not at all true. But you see, in creating public opinion, the political space is, politics is an organized thing, right? It's not common people can do. So this is the situation. And as I said, minority situation is extremely worrisome. If it is not controlled, if it is not brought back, then things will be very difficult. I don't think that everything can be corrected in one go. So and the economics has gone for a toss. Please take it from me, unless and until some military kind of rule is coming in, economics has gone for a toss, and they are reversing all these decisions of, snapping ties with India. Economics has gone for a toss. So thank you very much. I'm ending here. I hope I didn't take much time.
Thank you, Mr. Bashu. You have provided us a wealth of knowledge through the insightful and thought-provoking deliberation. While analyzing the root causes, categorically you have pointed out the rightist alignment of all significant political outfits in Bangladesh. And yes, it's an attack on Indic civilization by the Islamic radicalism. And you have also highlighted that how Jamatis dominate economy of Bangladesh. And nicely, you have made a comparison. I must say that some of my known Bangladeshi scholars, I wonder, just after the ousting of then Pradhan Mantri Sheikh Hasina, they compared this Bangladeshi movement with our Janata movement. But yes, nicely you have categorized, compartmentalized that how the violent protest led by the students in Bangladesh is totally different from the Janata movement, wherein the former has challenged the existing constitution of Bangladesh, and in India, the latter had fought to restore the constitution of India. So now our forum is open. If Buddhada, can you see the comment box if any of our viewers have put any question? Buddhada, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, is there any question? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, Buddhada, is there any question from the end of viewers?
I think you can question.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, till he finds the question, let us focus on a general question that what is the way forward? What is the solution? It's open to our three panelists. What could be the solution when it comes to and atrocities against Bangladeshi Hindus?
Who's to answer? Can I take it?
Yeah, it's open. Pratinda can take.
Okay, so it has to be two-way strategy. First of all, India has done very well this time. See, historically, the problem is that one reason why people can dare to do such things with Hindu minorities is the attack is because historically India did not own minorities in the region. We were lost in that oak field where you should not talk about religion. And if you compare the alertness of the American, and the Western embassies in Bangladesh, whenever something happens, untoward happens to a church, forget this time, but generally speaking, and compare that with the Indian response system, it lacked historically. We were too elitists to take that up, kind of. So this has been the major reason this time, and we took it as a fait accompli that these Hindus will keep coming to India. For 50 years, the Hindu population remained stagnant or less. It is surprising, and Professor Abul Barkar did extensive research on that. So it was assumed that they will suffer and they will quietly come. A major change has come up when you see there is a natural progression. First of all, when Mr. Harshvardhan Shringla was the ambassador, he had created a lot of right noises. Second is, you see, the CAA was a move towards this, to recognize the problem. And third, the first telephone call between Prime Minister Modi and Chief Advisor Dr. Mohammad Yunus, Prime Minister Modi raised the issue of minorities, safety of minorities. So the global, some kind of consensus, and we can see now that US and other segments have started issuing notices. So this is a major thing, that making it an issue, that it is a serious problem. First, they have to be told, that it has to be hammered into their heads that this kind of uncivilized activity cannot go on. You have to set a rule, whether it is Saudi Arabia rule or UAE rule. I don't know what rule you will live in, and you have to live in that rule. It has to be a rule-based society. This is one way of tackling the problem. Politically, I told you, I think it will be, it will remain disturbed for some time. Otherwise, that is my expectation, because they have really undid many good things, and then these two forces will fight it out. And please understand, there is one very positive factor about Bangladesh is its resilience. It never gives up hope. It keeps fighting. So this is what I think.
Yes, I also want to tell here. Can I, Dr. Minal?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please go ahead.
So I have hinted, of course, what Pratimda has said. This is extremely crucial. Government has to play a major role. But my understanding is that I also hinted in my talk that everyone has to be united. My experience and research in Assam, remote villages, is that, you're also from Assam, that basically Assamese villages are like one Boru village, normal caste Assamese village, then there can be another Karbi village, and then there may be another Bengali Muslim village. So whenever there is a conflict between, say, Boru village and Muslim, Bengali origin Muslim village, Assamese, normal Assamese, non-Boru villages or a Karbi village does not stand united together with these Boros. As a result, whereas Bengali immigrants origin villages, they all come together, and then this group, Boru group, becomes pretty, and it becomes very easy to throw them out from their place. So that's how it becomes, because the other groups are divided by their caste, divided sometimes by their religion or ethnicity. So they become minority in front of a Bengali Muslim village, both in numbers or unity. So first question is that now you expand this to state level, district level, or inter-northeastern level. So if the rest of the ethnic communities, however they're diverse, does not come and fought together, then it will be very difficult for them to maintain their place. So it is very important that rest of the people has to be united. Then secondly, when we talk about Bangladeshi Hindus, there may be a thinking like they should be brought to India, but I think that is not always the source. How long minorities from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, or Kashmir will keep on running? Government has to create such kind of, already these people are highly resilient. Any people from Indic civilization are highly resilient. We have to understand. That is how India has been survived for so many centuries, thousands of years. But we have to at least give them helping hand and create the fort within Bangladesh. Rather than bringing them to India, we need to think that how we can strengthen and empower in their own place rather than running away. Okay, this is my second one. Then third one is that creating and documenting very systematically all evidences. You know, in Assam, this issue has been there for last 40, 50 years, 100 years. But you see how many proper research is done. Very, very limited research, almost none, you can say. So everyone knows that what kind of problems they have faced for Bengali immigrant origin Muslim population. They are suffering, their cows are stealed, and therefore, you know, their whole livelihood has gone. Their women has been taken, and that is such a big psychological shock for them. But you see, you try to find out a book or research, proper research, rather not a newspaper piece. You know, there is no. So it is extremely important do more research, document, and make people alert, speak on the basis of evidence. Why I can say all this? Because I have seen those villages, because I have interviewed those villages, and I have been told same repetitive stories across different districts of Lower Assam. And then I come to a conclusion, yes, this is true. So it is becoming very, very important for us to gather evidence, to document, and to keep on telling what is happening. Otherwise, we will not. That is what we need to do immediately, as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shaitya. We have received two more questions from our audiences. The first one is a very sensitive question. So it's again, I am keeping open for our three panelists. Any of you can respond. That should India open the gate once again like 1971? And the second question, I think Pratimda would be happy to pick this up, that what could be the role of America in this ongoing unrest?
Go ahead.
Do I answer the first question?
Yeah, of course. Please.
Second will be better to answer.
Yeah.
Yes. So the thing is, in case of the way it has happened in 1971, given the history, I do not think that this is the only solution. That is a first and foremost thing, because, like, first and foremost thing which we need to understand is that Bangladesh, if it has to sustain, it has to understand that there cannot be a division or a rift between the ethnic minorities. Because if it has to sustain, if it thinks that it will sustain only by washing away of the ethnic minorities from the country, then that is absolutely a possibility. That's not a possibility at all. At least in 21st century, this is absolutely difficult. And if it thinks that, if we do this, like, I mean, if we are going on bringing about ethnic cleansing that we have done in 1971 and that we have done in 1950s or 60s, and we are going to do the same thing today so that India opens its doors, because it will definitely do this so that India opens its door, because they know that, if we do this, then India will definitely open its door, because India has always been liberal on this particular aspect. And India has been in that particular, I mean, history also shows that India has been liberal to these things, these issues, right? So the thing is that, so Bangladesh will always want that, that ethnic minorities, they move away from our country and they can go and they can settle. Even today also we have, like, for example, today you're sitting in Delhi also, I can tell you that most of the maids, the cooks that we have over here, they are all they are Muslim. They come from Muslim community who are in the border, who reside in the border areas. They don't have proper sources of livelihood, and that is why they have migrated. What is their identity? What exactly is their sustenance? How they are going to go ahead, so on and so forth. They don't know. In Delhi, they come over here, they stay as, they stay in chawls. Basically, there are certain localities जहाँ पे ये लोग एक साथ बैठे रहते, एक साथ ये लोग गुजारा करते, एक साथ रहते हैं. और ये सब लोग, जितने सारे लोग यहाँ पे दिल्ली में, at least South Delhi में, I have seen, even in places like Noida also, you will see that those people who are workers, like maids हो, cooks हो, या फिर clean, जो वो है सफाई कर्मचारी है, उनमें से बहुत सारे लोग, उनमें से इनफैक्ट majority 85 to 90% population, they are actually the Bengali Muslims. Now the thing is, if you always consider, if Bangladesh every time considers that, the moment we will have a problem, then India is going to open its door, and that this is actually going to bring a solution, then that is something that we need to be very careful at the moment. At least Indian policy should also be strict enough, I would say, to understand that we cannot do whatever. I mean, we cannot just play at the whims and fancies of what Bangladesh wants. So in this case, what I would say is that I don't think that's a solution. There has to be a midway solution, because every time opening your doors for always to look that you are liberal and you're secular, and that you are open for all kinds of problems to be solved, that is not the solution. Because India also has its own problems. India has its own border issues. India has its own ethnic issues. Even today, we also have to fight so many problems, right? So Bangladesh cannot always take up this particular, weapon and say that, okay, India has to solve it. Now, the thing is, if Bangladesh has to sustain, if its country has to sustain, if its economy has to sustain, has to definitely work on this particular aspect, that there has to be a proper and equitable platform, an economically equitable platform, politically equitable platform, and socially an equitable platform, which has to be given to each and every ethnic category of population who are residing right now in Bangladesh. And Mohammad Yunus, who has already been given the Nobel Peace Prize, that too Nobel Peace Prize, he should understand that he also needs to look after the fact that he has to give respect to this particular honor that he has been given already. So for this reason, I think, as a sociologist, I would say that I don't think that that's the best possible option. There has to be a midway that has to be charted between India and Bangladesh from Bangladesh's side has to look after the fact that उनके जो economic development है, उनका जो infrastructural development है, उनके educational development है, वहाँ पे वो development कर सकते हैं. अगर उनको अगर इंडिया की help चाहिए तो फिर इंडिया definitely ready होंगे help करने के लिए. But अगर बांग्लादेश अगर help चाहते हैं तो obviously they can get a lot of help. But the thing is that this help cannot come from this particular point of view कि नहीं हम लोग ethnic cleansing करते हैं और उसके बाद pressurize करते हैं. This is not the solution. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shah. Pradinda, now it's your turn.
You said that the first question is sensitive. Actually, the second is more sensitive. I can tell you with certainty that there won't be a repetition of 1971 either from Bangladesh side or from our side. The gates will remain closed. You are not a power unless you can enforce what you expect from your neighbors. Okay, so it will be, and I believe when I say that it was very significant that Prime Minister Modi on the first call with Dr. Yunus spoke about the safety of minority. It means India wants Bangladesh to ensure the safety of minority, and we can also see the way things are moving, that a global consensus is coming up. About USA, we all are aware what happened. So, and the turmoil that is going, we are talking about Bangladesh, a bigger turmoil is going on in USA. They are on a chart politically. So, Trump administration will definitely work with India. We all can expect a lot of surprises. Everything, I'm talking generally, going a little beyond Bangladesh on the regional issues. So there may be a lot of things. Everything cannot go in India's favor. But to what extent I think we will go back to the situation where the West used to follow the Indian decision on the neighborhood, and that is pretty expected, because this country is unlike all others who are on the sides, on the peripheries. This country is in India, then that is its disadvantage or advantage. So, a small boil in the armpit can be a serious problem. So this is a small boil. So this is, I think, wait for another 1.5 months, and that is actually the time duration with which probably the Yunus administration is working. And whatever my understanding is, they are going in for a first, at this moment, they are settled to announce a first election, which will take another 6 months. It might be, sometime we can expect sometime in August, September, July. So something is going to come up very soon, some decisions and etc. Anticipating. Over to you.
Thank you. But one more thing that I have to raise, that yes, India is not in a mood to open the gate again. But if a situation arises like this, like 1971, that the people, the minority people of Bangladesh, they had no other option on the one hand. And on the other hand, India is one of the signatory country of Torture Convention that happened in 1984. And according to this convention, India and even all the signatory countries are bound to provide citizenship to a foreigner if he or she is religiously persecuted and he or she wants shelter. So in that case, what could happen?
See, we are already providing shelter, and the CAA has paved way. And it is, I don't know, Professor and 𝐀𝐝𝐝𝐲𝐸𝐴, she is striking the right chords when she talks about the national unity on this issue. And I'm very pleased that she mentioned it. Say, for example, it is not only about Hindus. Just a couple of days ago, they torched, looted a Jagaro-Christian village in Mymensingh. So it is not merely about Hindus. And please understand, in Bangladesh, when the largest minority loses its voice, those micro-minorities do not exist, right? If you go by our history of Indic history, you will see there was a time in the beginning, probably when the Hindus tried to suppress Jains or Buddhists, but at the end, during the Islamic rule, it is the Hindus who are protecting the Buddhists and Jains. So this is simply the issue. And you said about India. See, we are paving way. The CAA is a recognition to the fact that persecution is on and that we are responsible to give them shelter. So giving shelter is one question. What I am saying is, from the realpolitik point of view, is that if you are a large country and in 2024-25, you cannot afford to repeat the things that you did that has happened over there in 1971. That is not, this is, see, India has changed. I mean, I don't want to tell in so many words. India has changed, and in another 10 years, India will change further in terms of its power quotient. So in fact, in another 4 years or 2 years, you will see India's power quotient rising. So such things are not going to happen. I don't expect that to happen. What can happen is, see, what was our concern from Bangladesh back in 2004, the 10 arms out test. Professor Soikia will be knowing it, that they were sending out arms. And as in 2010, Hasina dismantled over 100 militant camps, training camps in Bangladesh. So these is our problem, that they were acting, they were a party to cross-border terrorism. They were exporting terrorism, right? This is the problem area that, and I think India is putting up a lot of security efforts. And yes, people have to be more about it. They have to be sure. And they have to talk about the plight of the minorities in Bangladesh.
Yes, I want to add something there. In my understanding, opening gate is never a solution. This is very, very clear, and it would invite many other problems. Think about in my speech, in my talk also, I already said, rather than bringing them here, we need to create fort within Bangladesh. People, Hindus or other minorities, cannot keep on running from their own place. Time and again. Today it is happening. Yesterday it has happened in Afghanistan, Pakistan, now Bangladesh, Kashmir, and it would repeat the same from West Bengal to Assam, even within the country. This cannot be a solution. It has to be, we have to empower the people where they are available. And second is that, it may lead many other problems. For example, you see, we are now seeing here only religious persecution, only the religious angle. It has also ethnic angle. For example, if large number of, in Assam, because of the language, there has been so much of division between Assamese and Bengali communities. And if there are large number of people coming to any particular state or anywhere, the local ethnic minorities will be again further minorities. In Chilsor or in all this Barak Valley, there are so many tribes which were originally big in number. Their visibility was much more, but now no longer. So that can invite others kind of problem. Those who are original inhabitants in their place, they can be even again further minority, because the culture is sometimes different. So I think we have to always think from all different angles, not just only Bengali or Hindus or Muslim angle, but also Bengali and or other ethnic, we think. And secondly, as I think if we keep on opening the border in the other sense, we are bowing down our head in front of terrorism. That I do not think that India should do. So my stand is always that we should empower, we should document, we should present, we should expose at global level what Indian government is doing right now. Of course, this is good, but it has to be at massive level. Stories of small ethnic minorities does not reach anywhere because they do not have international diaspora. What an Assamese ethnic tribe is facing in front of Bengali immigrant Muslims or other religious this place in northeastern part or in India, it is always a diverse, extremely diverse place. Each small communities are getting a place. Well, there can be discrimination in India. At international level, it has been always shown that India, there is so much of discrimination over caste, over religion, this and that, and so on. But people fail to understand. Maybe in India it is discrimination, but in our neighboring countries it is not just discrimination, but also elimination, completely elimination of the minorities. We cannot keep on doing that. So it is extremely crucial for us, those who are teaching Indian people from West on diversity and all this, they should come and see what kind of diversity we have. A small state like Assam has maybe, I don't know how many tribes. I cannot, I am like, every mile there is some change. So we have to understand that if we want to protect this diversity, minorities within minorities, ethnic minorities, we cannot always take so large number of immigrants, even if it is Hindu and so on. If it is the case, then whole constitution of India has to be changed.
Thank you, Professor Shaikia. And as a moderator, I would like to take the privilege to add a point that, yes, rightly you have pointed out, even our two other panelists, that yes, opening a gate could not be a permanent solution. And most probably this is why I could remember in the year 2019 when we India faced turmoil over the CAA, some Bangladeshi scholars, those who are Hindu minority and especially associated with this 𝐊𝐼𝐧𝐸𝐿𝐴 𝐺𝑝𝑎RISHAD, they did not welcome it. They said that this CAA might backfire to the existing Hindu minorities in Bangladesh. So, yeah. So, this is the situation. So now we can take one last question. And that is again open for all, or even three of our panelists can shed light. The last question is, what are the prospects for democratic revival in Bangladesh? We can start from Dr. Our first panelist. The question is, what are the prospects for democratic revival in Bangladesh?
Yeah, hello. Prospects for democratic revivalism, right? Revival of Bangladesh. there are obviously every country has I think immense prospect if they use their resources, because we need to understand कि किसी भी कोई भी कंट्री हो उसके जो अपने रिसोर्सेज है उन रिसोर्सेज पे अगर हम लोग ध्यान देंगे और उनको अगर यूटिलाइज करेंगे तो फिर डेमोक्रेटिक रिवाइवलिज्म होने में बहुत ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगता है. But that particular interest needs to come out. That interest has to come out from the inner will of the government, of the inner will of the leader, of the government, of the people all together. अगर किसी भी country में, if every country, wherever these kind of situation, whenever these kind of situation is taking place, if they're always bent on finding out the wrong solutions or maybe the wrong pathways, then in that case it is not possible to bring a positive response or a positive solution. Positive solution tab aayega jab Bangladesh will actually get into a dialogue with all the countries at the global level, will improve its international relations, will try to bring about economic development in its own country. बांग्लादेश में जब मैं लास्ट 2018-19 में मैं बांग्लादेश में गई थी, वहां पे काफी there is no manufacturing sector, there is no particular industry. अगर आप अभी का situation मुझे नहीं पता, but when I went over there there is always मतलब sociologically अगर आप देखते हो तो फिर there are only two classes you will see in Bangladesh, either an upper class or there is a lower class. जो बीच का जो middle class है, because most of the time because they don't have jobs, they don't have proper economic condition also, they don't have proper educational development also, universities, colleges की situation. एक टाइम पे बांग्लादेश में सब लोग ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ने जाते थे, और आज बांग्लादेश की ये सिचुएशन है कि वहां के जो स्टूडेंट्स है वो लोग जापान चले जाते हैं, नहीं तो यूएसए चले जाते हैं, कोई वहां पे नहीं रहना चाह रहा है. जो मैंने भी अपने स्पीच में जब मैं प्रेजेंट कर रही थी तो वहां पे भी जो मैंने कहा, हमारे यहाँ पे जेएनयू में भी जो स्टूडेंट्स आए हैं, स्कॉलरशिप लेकर आए हैं, उनके लिए भी देयर इज अ वेरी ब्लीक फ्यूचर. दे आर वेरी मच दे डोंट नो व्हाट टू डू. बांग्लादेश में जाएंगे वापस, क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है, दे डोंट नो व्हाट exactly is going to happen. So if Bangladesh really wants to bring about democratic revival, there are many pathways, but that has to really come through will of the government. And the government, if it comes and sits for discussion with the other countries, the neighboring countries, with all the economic conditions and whatever political will that they can bring together, then only a democratic revivalism can be possible in the country. Thank you.
Yeah, Professor Shaikya, now it's your turn.
Yes, I think democracy cannot be imposed on anyone. It has to come from very foundation of the way of their philosophy, particularly religious philosophy, perhaps. You see that what the countries which is following democracy nowadays, you check entire world, which countries are having democracy, and then you will get the answer. So if you want to revive democracy in Bangladesh, the first step will be radicalization. That is very important. Once people are radicalized, once they want to identify themselves blindly to certain cult or certain ideology, then it becomes very you just think India is a democratic country, not because it is written in the constitution. People are democratic, and therefore constitution is democratic. In constitution it is written it is a democratic country. It would be if people are by their thinking or by the variables, the philosophy they follow, if it was not democracy, even after writing democracy constitution, it will be changing. That is what has happened with Bangladesh. So first would be my understanding is that first it has to be always de-radicalization, making them aware that going to this much of fundamentalism, what is experienced in other countries, particularly other Muslim countries is in the world, that too much going into fundamentalism is just their own destruction. They have to understand that, and that model has already failed now in Iran, and many Saudi Arabia or UAE, all the countries, the way they are approaching that may be, a role model for them. And in that case, if they understand that they are following Islam, but they are still culturally Indian or Indic civilization, part of Indic civilization, that will solve the issue for them. Otherwise, I do not think that just imposing from outside, it will solve the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Pratimda.
See, first of all, they want a democracy. It's not that they don't. If you look at at least theoretically, the reasons that they have put forward on ousting Hasina and what they're trying to, they're talking about having democracy. The question is, what form of democracy? Now, here's something interesting. I can give interesting analysis. See, we all know that democracy was always in doldrums in Bangladesh. This country, in every 15-20 years, it undergoes a major turmoil. It began from 1975 and etc. But there is something more. You see, if we look at the journey of Indian democracy from 1947 to, say, let's take 1991, when the coalition era, or 89, when the coalition era started, Indian democracy was going, more, it was getting more grounded. In the beginning, you saw all the elites and coming, and they were ruling the politics. So Congress was known as a party of Maharajas and Rajas, right? Whether in Bengal, whether outside. So it was all about elites everywhere. They were dictating terms, and the people were voting and keeping them in power, and they were deciding what should be done about the country. Same with bureaucracy, it was elite, army, elite. These people used to run the country, a few handful of people. But one good thing that had happened with the Janata experiment is that the democracy has set root, and we started witnessing, in a decade, we started witnessing rise of leaders like Lalu Prasad Yadav, who was absolutely from what you can say subaltern. We saw rise, finally, if we look closer, we will see a rise of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who came from nowhere, no family background, no economic background, nothing. So the day of the elite is over, politics has gone to the roots, to the people. This is why Indian democracy has strengthened. Now, in Bangladesh, if we look at it, from Mujibur Rahman to army, the qualitative change is not there. It is always the elite who is ruling. Then, if you go by the structures, say the BNP, it is founded by Ziaur Rahman and Khaleda Zia, so military dictator, and his wife and son. So again, the elite. Look at Jatiya Party, Ershad, a general, once military dictator. So the whole spectrum is ruled by elites. And the unfortunate truth is that the elites, even within the Islamic space, the current dispensation or the present situation, if we look at it, we are saying that the Islamists are trying to rule, but then again there is a problem, or there is a area of this contentious area. See, it is Jamaat who wants to be the ruler, and they want Hifazat, which is a subaltern entity. They are created out of those, they're basically madrasa teachers, and so madrasa teachers, and these poor people. Hifazat belongs to the poor, and Jamaat belongs to the rich. So the Jamaat wants to be the boss. They want to make the prime ministers. If they would always love to, or they dream about it. They don't want to sit in the same table with the Hifazat guys. This is where there is a problem and there is a hope. They will keep fighting. There will be serious churn. We don't know what kind of. I expect one good thing from this, whatever is happening in Bangladesh, is that it will throw some new leaders. It will bring in some changes in that on that front. How it shapes up, we have to see. I don't expect the BNP Army League binary to end. In fact, if my estimation is correct, the last 4 months experience, and which is not going to subside in next 6 months or so, has actually strengthened the Army League's constituency. It is the opposition vote, if we can explain it that way, is getting split because some new party is coming up, students, some Jamaat Islami forces might get more votes this time, if they get. So all put together, there will be some slippage from the BNP side, and that is where so once again, there is a similarity with the Janata experiment that the whole opposition vote got split. So I believe if the only worrying factor is that right after right factor, if that is not checked, and here also there is one very interesting counter force which was created during Hasina's period, the unprecedented economy. This is exactly why they are trying to break every challenge, everything that Hasina did. It is Hasina did something exceptional on the economic front, irrespective of there is truth in allegations about corruption and etc. When we are talking about Modi's growth, we cannot just deny the growth of growth in BJP period. We cannot deny the growth in UPA period between 2004 and 2009. These are facts. So one growth leads to another growth. So they are trying to break that, and my understanding is, or rather my hope is, that people, once they tasted good times, and there is a good example next to them, because India is getting more prosperous. So they would not like to turn the clock back. If you look at the social media space very minutely, people are not happy. People may not be the right people. You may not see them posting many things because of they replaced one operation by another operation. So you are not seeing the counter voices, right? So that is why, if not more of an operation. So that is why you are not seeing the counter voices, but I understand that they will fight it out. What comes out has to be seen. It is going to be an experiment. If it goes again more right, then we have serious problems ahead, being a neighbor. And if it rectifies itself, a chance that they are going to get for rectification, because there will be serious turmoil. And this is not the last one, and the next one will also not be the last one. There will be turmoil, more turmoil. Over to you.
Thank you, Pratimda. So as we reflect on the discussions, it is clear that the situation demands immediate attention and action from the international community, the Bangladeshi government, and the civil society organizations. So we must work together to ensure the safe Hindus and other minority communities in Bangladesh. तो आज हम हमारे इस कार्यक्रम के अंतिम चरण पर हैं, और it was really a situation, I must say. तो मैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट नैरेटिव प्लेटफॉर्म के आभार व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं हमारे तीनों पैनलिस्ट, मिस्टर प्रतिम रंजन बसु, प्रोफेसर नंदिता शइकिया, and Dr. Atreyi Saha, and all other audiences, viewers, those who have joined from the different corners of our country. So आपका सबको मेरा प्रणाम. आप सब अपने बिजी शेड्यूल से टाइम निकल कर के आप लोगों ने ज्वाइन किया, और ऐसे कार्यक्रम हम आगे भी करते रहेंगे और हम मिलते रहेंगे. सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. थैंक यू. गुड नाइट.